All right, this week on Camera Talk, we've heard of Tokyo Kogaku. How about Nippon Kogaku, otherwise known as Nikon? That's right, we're looking at the Nikkor 135 3.5 AI lens. Is it incredible? Is it amazing? Is it fantastic? Well, let's find out together. Are you ready, mister? Well, let's get it on.
Here I am, Vietnam. Rain is always coming down.
This is Camera Talk with Dr. Scott and Dylan. That's right, Dylan and I are back for another week of Camera Talk. And this episode, we're looking at the Nikon Nikkor 135mm f3.5 AI. Now, of course, there's an f2.8 and an f2, but hey, they're big monster things and they're expensive and they're harder to get. But the 135 that we have here is a pretty good lens, wouldn't you say? Yes, I would think so, right? So, yeah, you've heard of Nikon or Nikon. Don't really know how that's supposed to be said. Nikon. I guess that's like potato.
It's very important that you say these words correctly, because if you say sex instead of six, it can be a little bit embarrassing.
Let's call the whole thing off. But you know, as far as lenses go, Nikon has some pretty killer vintage lenses for those who are into vintage lenses and are kind of in the know, so to speak. You know, Nikon was not always Nikon, as I said in my intro. It was Nippon Kogaku, which Nippon is the Japanese word for Japan, and Kogaku is optics or optics engineering, something like that. My Japanese isn't all that up to snuff, so.
I'm turning Japanese, I think I'm turning Japanese, I really think so.
But anyway, they started way back, like we're talking way back in 1917. And just like Leica and Carl Zeiss and everything else, they started with microscopes. Seems that was the thing to do 100 years ago, was microscopes. And microscopes seems to lead into optics, photography, cameras, lenses, all that good stuff. By 1932, Nikkor became the brand of the camera lenses themselves, the actual optics. And they began producing optics, you know, for the army, the Japanese Imperial Army. And then some other camera companies out too, like Canon, who is Nikon's big competitor these days. Well, Nikon was actually producing lenses for Canon because Canon didn't make their own lenses back in that day. So, so on and so on. Everybody knows the history of World War II. Maybe not everybody, but enough of you out there know. And then after 1946, when the Americans were kind of running things in Japan and they were allowed to do things and not other things and so forth and so on. Well, Nikon, the term or the name Nikon first started to come into play with cameras. So we had Nikon for the cameras, Nikkor for the lenses, and then everybody was doing range finders of the day. All the cameras out there were range finders up until Nikon, who was the first to do an SLR. And what does an SLR mean? Quick pop quiz. Do 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 do. You give up?
I don't like your jerk off face, I don't like your jerk off behavior, and I don't like you. Jerk off.
Single lens reflex. You're like, so what? Well, what does that mean? Well, that was when they had the mirror, the mirror flipped up, exposed the film to the light, and it created the photo on the film itself. I know that's old school stuff. You don't know anything about that. Well, 1959, Nikon was the first one to create the very first SLR, and it was known as the Nikon F. You know what F stands for, right? Shut the front door. I used to love doing that to my primary school students way back in the day. So anyway, the rest was history from there, and that's where these lenses were designed for SLR cameras. So, you know, Nikon were the groundbreakers in this department, and therefore, you know, they were the vanguards. They were leading the way in this kind of lens development and whatnot. So the one we have today, the sample we have today, is the 135 millimeter 3.5, and of course their first 135s started way back in the 50s and whatnot. But we don't care about those. We care about the 70s, because that's when they started really kicking butt in that department. Yeah, didn't they? So this particular lens made in 1977 through to 1986. Excellent construction, excellent quality. It is the AI version, and AI, no, it's not artificial intelligence,
I know that you and Frank were planning to disconnect me.
is auto-indexed. And that just has to do with the communication between the lens and the camera itself. Again, not important for those vintage lens users out there. Mirrorless cameras like my Sony A7R II or my Canon M50, or even my rangefinder Leica are all mirrorless. So even though I do have some SLRs up on the shelf there, but again, that's not the purpose of today's video. So let's talk about that 135. Is it a good lens? Darn right it is. It's sharp. Got great colors. Its bokeh is okay to meh, you know, in that range, just depending on the situation, depending on the distance between the subject and the background, and so forth and so on. Color's good. Does suffer from a little chromatic. Oh, really? Bless you. So it does suffer from a little chromatic aberration, wide open under the, again, bright backgrounds and whatnot. So it depends on the situation. Its peak performance is, you know, if you're into sharpness, is 5.6, you know, up to f8 in that range. No visible distortion at all. Of course, you can probably find it if you start pixel peeping. Well built, as I said already. It's a great construction. Comes with a built-in hood that slides up and down. It's rather suggestive, isn't it? Up and down, up and down.
That's what she said.
So anyway, it's a nice piece of glass, and it's economical. That's the best part, right? Because, you know, here at Modesty Photography, we're all about budget stuff and everything. So if we could save you some money, that's what it's all about.
Cheap bastard.
So this is pretty economical. I think I got mine for about 50 bucks. So you can, you know, find them at all different kinds of prices out there. So keep an eye out for one of these, because they're, you know, really almost just as good as the 2.8 or the F2, which are the big brothers, and they're, like I said, they're twice the size of that, twice as heavy, twice as expensive, 3 times, 4 times expensive. So, you know, if you're just in the market for a good 135, this 3.5 is plenty fast enough, and it's good quality. Now, its construction, it's 4 elements in 4 groups, and it's remained that way throughout its lifespan. Its close focus is nothing all that close. It's 1.3 meters, so obviously you're not going to be doing any macro photography with this baby.
No shit, Sherlock.
7 blades as opposed to 6, which are most Nikon apertures. 409 grams is the weight on this thing, and that is it. Overall, it's a pretty decent lens. I think the only more popular model out of this would be the AIS version, and the way to tell the difference on that is the grip. The focus grip has 3. I mean, it's rubberized, and it has 3 layers to it, 3 sections, whereas in the AIS has 4. So if you just count the rings around the focus ring itself, if there's 3, it's an AI. If there's 4, it's AIS. So anyway, it's as I said, it's a nice nice piece of glass. And if you've been watching all my videos, is there anybody out there who actually watches all of them?
No. 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 No.
Well, I did a cleaning on this particular lens because it had some wicked fungus going on inside. So I took it apart, cleaned it all up, put it back together, and voila, we have ourselves like a brand new lens, right? So yeah, so that's the beauty of old vintage lenses, is they are fairly easy to take apart and pull back together again. So let me get you a little sample photo. Generally, I take pictures of the kit lens, which is on my Canon M50, which is recording this video, and it's a 15 to 45 EFM lens. So I try to focus in on the writing on the nameplate and see how sharp we can get it. So you're gonna do that? All right. So you hold yourself up now, mister. I'm not gonna hold you up. So let's do 3.5. You always like to get your head underneath here like you're somehow helping me, which you're not, by the way. All right, so let's get in as sharp as we can right there. All right, 1, 2, 3. All right, and let's do 5.6, as I said, to see how, if that makes any difference or not. And wow, there's like no focus shift on this at all. So 1, 2, 3. All right. So what do you think, you stinky? Does that look pretty good or what? I think so. Do you think so? You think so? Yeah. Well, how about some photos of this guy? I know that's what he's waiting for the whole time anyway. He thinks, oh, my fans out there, they want to see pictures of Dylan. We want Dylan. We want Dylan. Yeah? All right, well, here's Dylan at f3.5. All right, and here's a few of Dylan. Dylan's been kind of weird lately.
That's weird.
You know what that means? He's been kind of weird lately. Trying to take some pictures of him, and he's like, oh, I don't want you to take my picture, and he starts freaking out and running away and everything else. So I don't have very many pictures of Dylan at 5.6 because he didn't want to sit still for them. So here's Dylan at 5.6. And how about some random crap, right? There are people out there who want to see some things other than Dylan. No! So let's show them some pictures of cars and rainbows and bunny rabbits and flowers and trees and lakes and whatever. Other people, I'll allow that. So random crap, right? All right, so here's some random crap at F, whatever. Okay. I think that was it for the lens. Can we recommend it? You want to recommend this lens, mister?
Yes.
I think so. Again, for the bang for the buck, for the quality, for the rendition that you get from the lens, I think it is worth the price. So you get a big yes from me. How about you? Big yes from you? Yes. All right. So Dylan says yes too. All right. So let's give a shout out to our photo editing software that we use, which is Luminar AI and Luminar Neo. I've been using them for a couple of years now. You know, the AI stands for artificial intelligence, right? And that's the kind of thing right up my alley because it really cuts down on the workflow. I mean, if the software can do a lot of the thinking for you, click, 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 boop, done. I'm game for that. And so there's all kinds of, you know, AI in it. There's masking AI, there's cropping AI, there's portrait AI. What other AI do they have? You know, all kinds of AI. Power line removal, dust and spot removal, the relighting the scene. There's a lot of stuff that is a simple click or a little slider and you're done. Lots of templates, lots of color schemes, all kinds of cool stuff, really. So, you know, there's people out there who complain about it because it is still relatively new and, you know, they're updating all the time. So what? You know, live with it. You know, for one, it's economical. It's only $80. $80 one-time payment. Yours for life. You know, as they update things, they send you updates about every few weeks. Boom, update, and it's even better than it was before. So, can we recommend it? Yes. Yes. It is, like I said, $80. But if you click below, there's a description in the link below, which is a link to purchase Luminar, to which you can save $10, so it's only $70. And that $70 means we get a little kickback, and we like kickback too, right? Yeah, kickback. And what does Dylan get for that kickback? He gets his $1 million.
$1 million.
And maybe I get a little something from that too, if you're not going to hog it all. He just wants the millions for himself, of course. So, yeah, it's made by a company called Skylum, who's in the Ukraine, dealing with the big bad Russians at the moment. So kudos to them that they're actually still working on the program and still releasing updates and everything else while bombs are falling and things like this. Lately, they've had some victories on their own, kicking those Russians right back out the other way. So good for them. Poo on Putin. And I think that was it for that. So how about you support us, right? We like support. Get us exposed out there into the community. And you can subscribe. Would you like some subscribers on this side? Subscribe. That's right. And how about we do a double finger? Oh, put your finger up. Yeah, double finger. Subscribe. All the more power to you. And what does YouTube like besides subscribers? Do they like thumbs up? We like the thumbs up, right? And what comes with the thumbs up? Dylan's favorite part of the show, the thumbs up girls. Thumbs up, do 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 do. Thumbs up. All right, so you like the thumbs up girls? All right, I like them too. All right. What else? Well, who are we? What's the name of, or not the name, who are the sponsors of the show? We are Modesty Photography, and we're all about teaching you tips and tricks about photography, introducing you to vintage lenses, newer lenses, camera systems, tips and tricks about photography, you know, all kinds of stuff, really. It's up to you, too, what you want to see more of, if anything, and we can make it happen. So leave a comment in the comment section below. So, other than that, why do we like people to keep coming back? Because you belong here. And where do they belong, buddy? Where do they belong? What's the name of this show? This is Camera Talk with Dr. Scott and Dylan. That's right. So that was it for this week's Camera Talk. Thanks for dropping by. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for the thumbs up. Thanks for just watching. Thanks for supporting Dylan. Dylan loves his support. You like his haircut? I gave him a haircut yesterday. I used my clippers instead of the scissors. And took a big bulk off the front so it doesn't look like quite the helmet look like he had in every other Camera Talk. So now you're more handsome. You can do more Camera Talks. Maybe you can do one by yourself soon, and I can just sit back and watch. All right, so that was it. Thanks for dropping by. Thanks for playing along. Thanks for everything. And we will see you in the next episode of Camera Talk, which comes out next Friday. It's every Friday. At least Friday my time anyway. Who knows, wherever you are in the world. It could be Thursday night. It could be Friday night. Just depends. It could be Saturday. Who knows? There's so many options out there, Dylan. All right, so thanks for dropping by. All right, so bye-bye.
Here I am, Vietnam.